Hello everyone, I am Preet and welcome to Relevant Myths. In this fourth part in the series about patriarchy and feminism in Indian culture, we will deep dive into the equalitarian and feministic side of Indian mythology and explore many ideas which are considered revolutionary and modern by even today's society standards. Before this, I would suggest you to watch the first three parts of the series where I explain how gender is viewed in Indian culture, many intricacies about it, and how patriarchy was first established in Indian culture. Links are in the cards above as well as in the description below. So, let's begin. Now, nobody can deny that patriarchy and misogyny exist in Hinduism because it does exist and is a major part too. And we have discussed this in our earlier videos as well. But that doesn't take away from the fact that there are a lot of feministic ideas in Hinduism as well. Hindu mythology is one of the few major mythologies where male and female forms are given equal importance. God cannot exist without the goddess and vice versa. And so today we will focus on that part of Hinduism. If we want to compare Hindu ideas of feminism with modern day feminism, the closest thing is liberal feminism. Liberal feminism believes that women, like all humans, also have the right to make decisions about their bodies and their lives and should be given equal freedom and access in areas where only men had such freedom till now. So, Hinduism also has a similar view about feminism. In Hindu scriptures, men and women are never shown to be equal or same. Equal amount of opportunities have to be given to women, but that doesn't mean that women and men are the same. Hinduism acknowledges the uniqueness of women. Indra has to treat Durga equally as Shiva or Vishnu if she kills an asur for him. But that doesn't mean that Durga is equal to Shiva or Shiva is equal to Vishnu. Each one has their unique personality and need. Shiva is content with raw milk, while Vishnu needs processed milk or butter, but Durga demands blood. There is acknowledgement that everyone is unique and part of a diverse ecosystem. Now, there are various stories which highlight the feministic nature of Indian scriptures in different ways. There is the story in Chandogi Upanishad where a boy goes to Rishi Gautam for studying. Rishi Gautam asks him, "Who is your father and what is your lineage?" To which the boy replies, "My mother told me that she served multiple men simultaneously when she was young and so she doesn't know who my father is. But she said that her name is Jabala and my name is Satyakang. So I am Satyakang Jabala." Rishi Gautam was so impressed by the boy's honesty that he gladly accepted him as a student. Here, the boy proudly tells the fact that her mother was with many men and the Guru also accepts that boy without any hesitation. In the Mahabharata, there is the story of Shwetaketu who is credited with creating the concept of marriage which we discussed in our last video. Basically, Shwetaketu finds his mother with some other man than his father. Now, this was a time when there was still no marriage, so women were free to be with as many men as they wished whenever they wished. Now, seeing his mother with another man, Shwetaketu is really disturbed and so he complains to his father Udlak. Udlak replies that a woman is free to do whatever she pleases. Shwetaketu then questions that how could he be sure that Udlak is actually his father because her mother had been with other men also. To this, Udlak replies that it's not his sperm that makes Shwetaketu his son, but instead it's his love. Here, a man is so devoid of his ego and misogyny that he is perfectly comfortable with the idea which we are struggling to accept even today. There is also the story of Ram and Ahilya. You can check out the full story of Ahilya in this video of mine. But in short, Ahilya was cursed by his husband Rishi Gautam to turn into a stone for thousands of years because she had sexual relations with Indra. Now this differs from version to version, but when Ram hears about this story, he considers Ahilya completely innocent and touches her feet, which frees her from her curse. Here Ram doesn't consider adultery as a crime and gives more importance to the woman's choice and freedom. There is also the goddess Weenie, the female avatar of Vishnu. She does the pivotal task of regaining the Amrit from Asuras and giving it back to the Devas. She is a trickster, an enchantress who seduces men by her body and looks and traps them. Portrayal of this is a controversial thing even today, yet the idea of a male deity taking the avatar of a woman who is unabashedly free is celebrated everywhere throughout the Indian scriptures. There is also the really fascinating story of Shiva and Krishna. One night in the forest of Vrindavan, Krishna, Radha, and the gopis were enjoying the delightful Ras Leela. The tunes of the dance were so melodious that even Shiva, who was meditating on top of Mount Kailash, could hear them. He was so engrossed in the Ras Leela that he decided that he also wanted to participate in it. But when he tried to enter the Ras Leela, a gopi stopped him and told him that only women could participate in the dance. No men were allowed. Ras Leela has only one man, and that is Krishna. Everyone else are women. Shiva was now perplexed about what to do, so he asked Parvati for a solution. Parvati told Shiva that there is only one way he can enter the dance, and he himself also knows what that way is. Shiva became a little shy and embarrassed to hear that, but he did want to join the dance, so he dived into the Yamuna river. When he came out of the river, he had been turned from the ash-smearing, tiger-skin-wearing, long-haired man into a beautiful sari, earrings, nose ring, and bangles-wearing woman. Shiva was then finally allowed to enter the Ras Leela. Krishna saw Shiva and smiled mischievously at him or her. Shiva in his woman form and Krishna danced in the Ras Leela, and even Radha was perplexed by who this new gopi was and why was she so close to and in sync with Krishna. There is also a temple of Shiva in current day Vrindavan called Gopeshwar Mahadev, which is a nod to this story. So yes, there are stories where women's body is treated as property, but there are also stories where women are independent and have control over their own lives. So it's important to highlight this other side of Indian culture as well, which I have tried to do here. So this was the video, everyone. In the next and last part of this 5-part series about patriarchy and feminism in Indian culture, I will conclude this discussion by explaining how Hinduism has a nuanced take on gender and answer the question, is Hinduism feministic or patriarchal? Now, you guys tell me what are your thoughts about this. Comment all your views and opinions in the comment section below. Also, a note here that all of these concepts that I have mentioned here are taken from the wide range of work from Mythology's Devdutt Patnaik. Links to all his relevant articles are in the description below if you want to check them out. Please like the video and share it to all your friends and family. Subscribe to Relevant Myths and hit the bell icon in order to get more such stories, insights and trivia from the unending world of Indian culture and mythology. Thank you for watching and have an awesome day.